everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 3 by the Sea Designs podcast. My name is Kim, and today is Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. This podcast is all about the 3 by the Sea Designs life that we have here in Florida where we live. I have an Etsy shop with my mom, Dreama, and my sister, Becky, and together, all three of us, we make things for knitters and crocheters. We make project bags and stitch markers and progress keepers, and we have hand-dyed yarn that we make as well. So thank you so much for joining me. This is mostly a knitting podcast where I show things that I've been working on and finished objects, but I do dabble in crochet as well as some other things. And I also talk about things going on with our shop and updates that we have coming up, and it's just a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy the episode. If you're new, welcome and thanks for joining. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back to watch. I'm in a different spot today. I'm in another workspace in my house. I feel like we are all bursting at the seams with our business kind of taking over our homes, and we're definitely growing to the point where we need to get a designated space just for 3 by the Sea Designs, and that is our goal eventually. But right now we work out of our homes, and I just feel like 3 by the Sea is taking over everything everywhere. So, but that's okay. You know, it's just growing pains and we make it work. So, today is episode 34. I wanted to tell you that if you have not watched the last video that I put up just a few days ago, this past Friday, please go watch it. It is a special preview video of our fall collection that's coming to the shop on September 9th. I talked all about what's new. We are gonna have new project bags, stitch markers, and new yarn. And I showed everything in detail. I showed all of the sizes of the bags that we'll have. I showed all of the yarn, all of the different bases that we're gonna offer, and I showed some of the stitch markers also. But that episode was just for the preview, so I wanted to record a separate video. I told you guys I was gonna record yesterday on Monday, but I forgot that yesterday was Labor Day. It was a holiday here in the United States, and so my son was home from school, and I couldn't do it. I really wanted to get it all together, but I knew that I was gonna be distracted. So instead, we just kind of hung out, and my son and I went to lunch, and then we were gonna go to Costco, but we drove to Costco and realized that it was closed. So anyway, today I'm recording on Tuesday, and if I can get this edited and done tonight, I'll put it up tonight. If not, it will go up tomorrow morning on Wednesday. I have a really fun episode planned for you today because I'm going to not just show you all of my whips and my finished objects, which I think I only have one finished object, but I also went through some patterns that I've been wanting to make, and I have lots of fall knitting plans and some crochet plans as well. So I am going to talk about a few different patterns, several different patterns actually, and hopefully that will give you guys some inspiration as well for the upcoming knitting season. When it starts becoming the fall season, people start shifting the things that they're working on into typically more garments, shawls, scarves, cowls, things that are going to be useful to you in the upcoming cooler months. and cold months, although it doesn't get too cold here in Florida. But people start to shift their mindset a little bit, at least for me anyway, in the types of things that I'm wanting to make. And of course, your color palette completely changes. Well, mine does. So I wanted to sort of touch on that. I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about some advent calendar making that I want to do with one of my advent calendars from last year. And oh, and something really exciting is I have the 2 giveaway winners to announce as well. I'll do that in just a little while. I think that's pretty much everything on the agenda today. And I do have an acquisition that I will show you later on. As far as social media goes, we are very active over on Instagram, and we try to be active on Facebook, but we're not as active over there. But give us a follow over on Instagram if you have that, because we update that almost every day with pictures, and we do stories as well. We actually just hit the 5,000 follower mark on Instagram, and we were really excited about that. We also have a private Facebook group called the Mermakers, and a lot of times if we have something to announce, we will announce it there first. So, and it's a group of people who are knitters and crocheters, and they post things that they're working on, and we just chit chat sometimes in there. So that's also a place that you can join. I have links to all of our contact information down below in the description box. If you click on the arrow, or I think it says more, you can find the links to our Etsy shop, to our Instagram page, our Facebook group, and anything that I talk about, I will have linked below if I can link it. Another bit of shop news that I wanted to mention really quick before I get started is that our Spooky Soiree colorway that we came out with last month is on a pre-order at this point. So it will come down tomorrow on Wednesday. So you have today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. At the end of the day tomorrow night, it will come down out of the shop, because we are getting ready to dye that and ship it out at the end of September. And you'll get it just in time for October making. I have one finished object to show you today. It is a pair of Shorty Socks. I knit these socks using a yarn that I talked about it on a few episodes back, but it's a yarn that I dyed last summer, so not now, but a little over a year ago. And it was a prototype yarn that we were trying to get the colors just right, and this particular color got way too green. So we didn't like the way it turned out, but I wanted to knit with the yarn because I wanted to see how it would look knit up, just so you could have an idea, or so I could have an idea of, if I see a skein of yarn and I don't necessarily like the way it looks in the skein, like I'll twist it up, it may end up looking pretty in a yarn in a project. So I did just a plain vanilla sock. I think I did 12 rounds on the cuff and maybe 10 or 12 rounds on the leg before I started the heel. Just a regular heel flap and gusset. And I actually cast on 72 stitches on the cuff, and when I got to the end of the cuff, when I was starting the leg, I decreased down to 64 stitches because I wanted to see, because I've noticed that different yarns look different based on your stitch count, based on the circumference, if you're knitting in the round versus knitting flat. And so I just wanted to see what this yarn would look like as a 72 count versus a 64 count for the stitches. And you can see it does look a little different. Now, I don't know if that was because of the ribbing, and then I started just a plain stockinette here. I'm not sure. I think it has more to do with the stitch count. Because you can see some socks that people knit that are either like a 56 or 60, 64 stitch. They all look different at each stage of sizes. But these were fun to knit. I was really happy with how they turned out. And that's my only finished object. I want to talk to you about some of my whips. I guess actually all of them. I'll run through them quickly. I do have a new cast on also, but let me show you my whips so far. So I did finish one of the socks that I showed last episode. Let me talk about the yarn. Oh, and let me show you, I have this project in my Happy Campers small drawstring bag. This is one of our designs that we had earlier in the summer. So the yarn is Regia cotton. It's the Tutti Frutti line that they have. And it is 72% cotton, 18% polyamide, which I believe is like a nylon, and 10% polyester. The color number is 02418. And this is what it looks like. They have a whole line of these yarns, of this Tutti Frutti line, and there's different colors. This one has a kiwi on the front, so I'm pretty sure this one is the kiwi colorway. So I'm really happy with the first sock. I made them shorties, and these are gonna be for me. So I did 10 rounds for the cuff, 10 rounds for the leg, and then I started the heel. I talked all about this heel last time. I took this heel from another sock pattern called the Mermaid Tail Socks. I'll link it down below. And then I just did a regular toe. So I love the self-striping in it. I'm using a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. Now, I originally had this project on a circular needle, like a small 9-inch circular. And I noticed that because it's the cotton yarn, it was, when I was knitting with the small circular needles, it was hurting my hands. So I switched to magic loop with the longer cables and longer needles, and that actually really helped, because at first I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. And then as I got to the foot part, and you're just knitting, 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 straight stockinette, on the small needles, I noticed it was hurting my hands. So I switched back to magic loop, and that seemed to help a lot. So I think I'll just do the whole second sock in magic loop. So I'm really happy with it. Like I said, they have other colors. I wouldn't mind having 3 or 4 pairs of shorty cotton socks to wear. This, I tried it on and it fits great, and it seems like it's gonna be a very durable sock yarn. And here in Florida, especially in the summertime, I feel like the cotton will be perfect. I can actually wear them outside, because I can't wear my wool socks outside in Florida unless it's winter time. My next whip is in this project bag that was that I purchased from the Creative Knitter. She is a yarn shop owner and a bag maker, and I believe she dyes yarn as well in Canada. I don't remember where in Canada, but she's in Canada. So I'm making the pattern called 2 heels and a toe. Again, I've talked about this a lot over the last few episodes. And basically, this pattern, you knit a long tube with some things on the end of each one, and then you split it and you finish it. I know that sounds funny. So, let me talk about the yarn real quick. This is a self-striping colorway from String Theory Colorworks in the colorway Exoplanet. And I have split them, and I actually finished one of the socks. So let me show you that one. These are a pair of socks for my son Ryan. He is, he's a young teenager, so I guess it's still cool to have mom make you things. But I don't know. But he said he likes the colors, so I used a gray contrast color for the heel. And I'm pretty sure this is the butterfly. Yeah, I made the butterfly heel from Kay Jones from the Bakery Bears. And all I have left to do on the second one is the cuff. I've started it. I just did not finish it yet. And then these will be finished. I loved the pattern. I loved the concept of the pattern where you just knit one long tube. She calls it 2 heels and a toe because when you are finished with knitting everything before you split into 2 socks, you've knit a long tube with 2 heels and a toe. And then you're supposed to go back after you've split it in half into the 2 socks and do the 2 cuffs. Now I had already started these when I found this pattern. So I had already made the cuff because I was knitting these cuff down. I had already made this cuff. So now that I'm going back and doing the second cuff, you know, when you do cuff down socks versus toe up socks, your cuffs sometimes look different. So I'm hoping this cuff won't be too different looking than this. And when I say different, I mean, it's a little bit stretchier when you do the cuff last versus first. But I don't know, I'm curious to see how it's going to look doing them 2 different ways. I'm trying to knit it as tight as possible, not like crazy tight, but I'm trying to knit it as tight as possible so that it'll shrink in like this one does. But when you're wearing them, you don't notice that anyway. So I did have to cut the yarn when I finished this toe, or this toe, one of them. I had to cut the yarn to get it to the right color so that the cuffs would match. Personally, I don't mind when striped or scrappy socks don't match, but since they're for my son, I didn't know if he would mind at all, so I wanted them to match for him. So I'm almost finished with that one as well. Oh, and I'm knitting these on a US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter COWL, and I'm doing magic loop for those. But I highly recommend the pattern. It's actually it's actually really cool. And I think when I try this pattern again, I will not do a self-striping colorway because that was a lot of math to, not math, that was a lot of trying to figure out how to line the stripes up. But if I use a variegated colorway, or any other colorway that's not striping, I think it would be cool to just, I won't have to worry about any of that. So the next pair that I cast on this with this method and this pattern, I'll use something that's not self-striping. I don't know what yet. The next project that I'm going to show you is my blanket that I'm making for my daughter Olivia. I have it in this gigantic 31 tote that belonged to my grandmother. She is from West Virginia and she loved football. So she had this, 31 is a company and you can have things embroidered on the bags that you're purchasing. So my grandmother passed away last summer. So this bag is very special to me because I love West Virginia as well. And I've spent so much time there. I miss it so much. So I'm loving using this bag for this larger project. So I started a blanket for my daughter Olivia a few months ago. She bought a condo and it's out by her school close to where she goes to college at the University of South Florida. And I wanted to make something for her room. And she did her room in blacks and pinks and golds and creams and tans, those kinds of colors. So before I show it to you though, I want to talk about the pattern a little bit. So I went looking for a corner to corner blanket that was striped and I couldn't find anything that I liked that was in fingering weight. The closest thing that I could find was this free pattern by Yarnspirations called the Corner to Corner Garter Knit Blanket. But you're not going to be able to see what it looks like, but this is basically the pattern. It's a free pattern. But it's this pattern used, I want to say it was either DK or worsted weight, and it was just a small baby size blanket. So in the pattern, you only cast on, and you cast on small because you cast on in the corner. So you cast on 4 stitches and you go all the way to a total of 95 stitches before you start your decreases. So I basically tripled that because I'm like, well, I'm using fingering weight yarns and I wanted it to be a decent size. So I tripled those numbers. I mean, I did cast on 4, but I went all the way to almost 300 stitches basically. So let me show you where it's at. I'm so close to being finished. I'm gonna have to stand up and show this to you though. I hope you can see all of that. So I started down here in this corner and I just striped a dark, a light, and either a tannish color or a gold color. I used grays, blacks, golds, pinks, all kinds of those types of colors. And I pulled from Stash and I pulled from my Row 1 minis. So last time I showed it, I was here where my progress keeper is, and I've knit all of this since then. And I'm almost finished. I think I have like 5 or 6 more colors to do. And then I'm done. I'm weaving in the ends. As I change colors, I'm weaving in the ends. I'm leaving the tails, but I am weaving the colors in. So I won't have much to do after I'm finished as far as that goes. I'm thoroughly enjoying this project. And I think she's gonna love it. She has not even seen it yet. I think she's going to love it. These are not colors that I would have picked for myself, but they are the colors in her room, and I love the way they look. I really do. And I love that it's sort of scrappy looking. I really love it. So for the stripes, I changed colors every 14 rounds. So there's because it's just knit like a garter stitch, there's 7 ridges, garter ridges per color. And one garter ridge is 2 rows, knit and then turn around and knit again. So I like the stripe length. It's about, I don't know, 1.5 inches maybe per stripe. And I'm so happy with it. When I finish it, I will soak it, lay it out to dry. I can't block it really because it's so big. So I'll just lay it out to dry, and it'll smell good because I'll use some wool wash. And then I will take some pictures of me giving it to her and laying it out on her bed or wherever she decides to put it, maybe over her chair. I'm not sure yet. So, but I will definitely document that because you guys went on this journey with me. Remember when I got really emotional talking about her dad and everything that happened there? And I'm so proud of her for everything that she's accomplished. And I just wanted that to reflect in something that I make her that hopefully she'll be able to keep forever. So, almost finished. I think I might even be able to get it. I was trying really hard to finish it over the weekend, but I just couldn't. So, but next episode, this will be done for sure. I have just a few more things to show you for whips. This is something that I have not worked on in a long time, probably at least 2 months. So it's my rocket tee, and I pulled it out because now that I'm gonna be finished with the blanket, I'm going to return to the 2 garments that I had cast on earlier this summer. So this is the rocket tee by Tanis Fiber Arts. It is a striped tee, and you alternate between a fingering weight yarn, and you could either use a mohair or a surrey. And I am on the body, so I'm just doing the striping. I don't know why I haven't finished this because I wanted to wear it this summer, but I didn't get to. So, too many other things that were going on, but I really love the colors. This is a color that I dyed a couple of years ago. So I'm very set on finishing this project. This is what the yarn looks like. It's got a stellina in it. And then I'm using a surrey. So I'm going to pick this back up and get going on it this week. I have it in a 3BTC Designs project bag, and it's in our large zipper size. The other garment that I started, it's the Anker summer shirt. I'll put a picture up of it here because I don't have the pattern. I'm just using the digital one for now. But I talked about this a while back, and I had literally just cast it on. I cast it on when we were on vacation in Orlando, and I haven't touched it since then. And it's not because I don't want to work on it. I just had so many other projects going on that I sort of just put it on hold. So the yarn that I'm using is a linen cotton blend, and it's a yarn that we got to try out to see if we liked it, because we want to have some type of linen or cotton base in our shop. So we purchased this and I dyed it. I actually dyed it our sea fan colorway, and on this base, because it's got the different content, it came out much lighter. I actually really love how it turned out. This base is always going to look different than your other bases that are like a wool blend or just wool. So this is the yarn, and I literally just started the ribbing for the neck. That's all I've got so far. So this is another one that I'm going to pick back up and get going on. Both of these tees, I'm not upset that I waited so long, because since I live in Florida again and it's so warm here most of the year, I will be able to wear these through the fall and even in the winter time if I layered them with something. So it's totally fine that I've waited as long as I have. And I also have this in one of our 3 by the Sea design project bags. This is from ages ago. Oh, I don't know, 3 years ago, maybe longer. One of our spring bags. So that's it for current whips, other than my new cast on, which I'm going to show you. I have this new cast on in one of our brand new project bag prints that is coming to the shop on Saturday. Look how cute this print is. I told you guys on the preview episode that Becky had made me a sock size project bag out of our Cozy Cafe print. So I cast on a Musselburgh hat. I have made 2 Musselburgh hats in the past, and I love this pattern so much that I decided to make a 3rd one. This is what it looks like. This hat is very popular. I've seen so many different people making this hat, and like I said, I've made 2 in the past. One of my very first projects that I showed on the podcast way back a long time ago was the Musselburgh hat. So this was my first one that I made, and basically you knit a long tube. I think it looks like a pill because it's oval shaped, and then you fold it up inside of itself like so. And it's double thick because you've got the 2 layers. So you can make it as long as you want to, really. What's really cool about the pattern is that you can use any size yarn, and you can use whatever needle size you want, because she bases it on your gauge. So depending on what your gauge is, that's how many stitches that you end up with on the needles. So I really like that about the pattern. The second Musselburgh hat that I made was last year, and it looks like this opened up. I held it double with mohair, and I striped in these colors to make it sort of scrappy, and I wanted to have a darker side and a lighter side, so that no matter which way I folded it on itself, it would either be a lighter color or a darker color. This one's longer and bigger than my first one, but this one fits my head more closely, tighter, and this one is more slouchy, and I can fold up the brim if I want to, and so I could wear it tighter on my head if I folded up the brim, or I can have the brim down, and this part will be more slouchy on the back of my head. I'm not gonna try them on because they'll mess up my hair. Not that it's not already messed up. So anyway, I decided, okay, so we went through Hurricane Idalia last week. Was that last week or the week before? Last week. So, and I needed a distraction because it was supposed to come this way. It ended up going north. It missed us, thank God, but it was so sad. It's sad no matter where it goes. It's some area of the country, usually Florida or the Gulf Coast, gets hit by these storms. And thankfully it missed us, but when it misses you, it means it goes to somewhere else. Last year it was south of us in Fort Myers area, Sanibel Island, and it completely devastated, that Hurricane Ian did. And the same thing with this one, Hurricane Idalia. It hit the inside corner of Florida, and it's just so sad. I hate these storms. But anyway, I needed a distraction from everything going on. So I decided, oh, let me cast on something, and it helped a lot. So I decided, I've had this yarn forever. This is a Regia Perfect, and normally you use this to make a pair of socks. And the way that it's designed is you're gonna have two identical socks, and it's a self-patterning yarn. And so you can see the picture here. That's how they will turn out if you knit them as socks. Something very similar to that. So I've had this forever. I'm pretty sure my mom gave it to me. It's the Regia Perfect design line. Arne and Carlos designed this particular one. This is color 09137. And this is a 75% virgin wool, 25% nylon polyamide. So, but I wondered, what will this look like in a hat or something other than socks? So obviously you're gonna have, it's gonna look different because you're in a hat, your circumference that you're knitting is much, much bigger. But I wasn't sure how it would look. So when you start, you pull from the center with this yarn. The yellow is like the extra yarn, because that tells you where to stop and start. So I started with the white, just like you would at the top of the cuff on the socks. And I just started making the hat. So this is what it looks like so far. So this is where you start. You start here and you do your increases. So this is, if this were a sock, this would be the cuff. And then this would be the leg, just like on the picture. And then this middle white area would have been the heel. And then this second set of colors would have been the foot, and this would have been the toe. So I just thought this looks so cute as a hat. I love it. I have this really cute little progress keeper on here. We actually have these little mushrooms in the shop. We have another mushroom coming that has a red top, but this one's really sweet. Has a little face on it too. So I I am really pleasantly surprised at how it's turning out. So now I'm just gonna keep going with the hat like you do. Eventually I'm gonna get to a yellow part where I'll have to cut it and start again with more white that you would, it would be like the second cuff of the second sock. And so I think this will just basically repeat again. So I'll have 2 more stripes sections, and then I'll finish with the white. Hopefully I'll have used up all of this pretty much, and then I'll fold it in on itself just like I did with this one, and it'll basically look like this. So I'm really happy with it, and I love that you can use this for something else. Now this is designed for socks. This is a very rusticy sock yarn, but it's also very soft, and I've felt it on my head, and scratchier wool does not bother me at all. So I think it's gonna be great. I don't know that it'll end up being for me, but it most likely will. So if you have any skeins of either Opal or Regia or anything, and you're just not wanting to make socks with it, try it in a Musselburgh hat or any hat and see what you think. But I love it. And it's such a nice, mindless knit. Once you get to where you need to be for your stitch count, you just keep knitting and knitting and knitting in the round, and it was such a great distraction for me during all of that stuff that was going on with the hurricane, and I'm just really enjoying making it. I kind of feel like I'll always want to have one of these hats on my needles, because not only are they going to make great gifts, they're just very relaxing to make for me. It's almost like having a pair of socks on your needles all the time. This, I feel like I will want to have on my needles very often. I'm gonna announce the 2 giveaway winners from the episode 33. So if you guys watched episode 33, you saw me dye these salty skeins, which we call our one-of-a-kind colorways salty skeins, which this colorway actually ended up being one of our new colorways in the shop. We're gonna call this chocolate raspberry truffle. But this one is going to be a salty skein. I dyed these with leftover dyes that I had from when I did our dye swatches. So that's what this one looked like. And this one. So the first winner is DONNA RIEGSECKER. I am so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I will put up your winner post here. And the second winner is Jane Anderson. So I will put your winner post up here as well. So congratulations to both of you. You get to choose, because we have 2 of each. We have 2 of the chocolate raspberry truffle, and we have 2 of this salty skein. So you get to choose one, whichever one you want, and email us at our email address right here on the screen, and let us know you were the winner of the giveaway and your shipping information. Send us, and which skein you would like, whether it's either one, and we will get those shipped out to you. I will never comment in the comments and tell you that you're a winner. I will always announce it here on the video, just so there's no question because there's scammers out there that like to tell people that they've won when they really haven't won. So I always say the winners who won and ask you guys to reach out to us and give us your information to ship it. I won't ever ask you for money or billing information or anything like that, just so you guys know for future prizes that we are giving away. So congratulations to both of you. I want to talk to you guys about my fall knitting plans. I'm going to briefly go through some patterns that I have found. I've been watching a lot of podcasts lately, and I've been so inspired by the things that some of my favorite podcasters have been making. And I've also just been looking around a lot on Instagram and social media and just different places to find some patterns that I really, really love that are either going to be plans or knitting dreams. If I get to them, that would be wonderful. At some point, I want to make most of these things. So I'm just gonna go through them briefly. There's also some ideas here on, I kept in mind all of our new fall colorways that we're coming out with on Saturday, and I wanted to find things that I thought would look really good with the colorways that we have coming to the shop. So the first pattern, I'm gonna put pictures up of them here as I'm talking about them. And I have my computer open. I'm going to look at them so I can talk briefly about each one. So the first pattern that I found is a cardigan. It's called the EAVES cardigan by Kate Oates Design. And it is a color work motif on the top and also on the back. I'm not sure how this is constructed, whether it's top down. I believe this is top down. Yes, it's a boxy graphic drop sleeve cardigan engineered from the top down. Oh, and then you steek it in the front and you steek the armholes. So this is a very interesting construction. I've never steeked anything before, so that's a little bit intimidating, but I think it's beautiful and it would be so cozy to have. And the color work doesn't look too complicated. Looks like it's 3 different colors in certain spots, but it's mostly just 2 color. And I think our jewel toned minis that we have, the Bejeweled mini set, would look really pretty as the contrast colors in this cardigan. Another pattern that I found is the Cider House Socks by Summer Lee. They are a cabled sock with some striping at the top. These look so cozy. I think any of our colorways would look really pretty with these. And I love the little stripes at the top that add such a cute little detail. So I would like to make those as well. I also think that these are really cute. These are the Patch Socks by Fiber and Fern. We follow her on Instagram and we love all of her patterns. She does a lot of socks. And these are super cute. There's color work, but it's only at the top and the bottom, which I particularly do not like color work socks that are all throughout the whole sock. But I do like a little bit of it either at the top or the bottom or both. I think that's much more manageable than having color work throughout the entire sock. These are adorable though. Another pattern that I think would look really pretty with either our mini sets or any of our fall colors is also by Fiber and Fern, and this is the I Have Confidence socks. This is very similar to the first sock pattern I showed you, the Cider House socks. It's got some cabling, but it's also got, this one has some color work at the top and the bottom. I think this would be really, really cute. Now, this is a pattern by Pacific Knit Co. called the Autumn Doodle Cowl. This thing is so cute. I love cowls when they are knit in a tube and they just go around your neck. One time you could probably make it even long enough to go around twice. But this is just really cute. All of the different motifs are, I think you get to pick and choose which ones that you want to do. I've been looking at this pattern forever, and this designer has multiple doodle cowls, not just for fall or Halloween. She has several different seasons. I think she has a Christmas one and a summer one, but just the concept of this is super cool. I would love to do something like this. I asked in our Facebook group if anyone had any pattern ideas, and Lydia suggested the Tessellated vest by the Tessellated vest is by Andrea Mowry. It's so pretty, and this is using mosaic knitting, mosaic like slip stitch knitting. It looks like color work, but it's actually not color work, which is the whole magic behind it. So this one is another one that I would love to make. Lydia also suggested the color palette socks. This is actually a free pattern by Laura Moratz, and this would showcase our Bejeweled Minis set perfectly, because if you make them just like the pattern shows, it's 7 different stripes and there's 7 different minis in that set. So this would be so cute to use for that. These are the Forever Autumn socks by Stone Knits. Lydia also suggested these. Now these have color work all throughout the sock, but if you didn't want to do it all throughout, you could stop and only do the leg, or you could just do 2 rows of the leaves on the leg or the toe. There's so many different options you could do. You don't have to do it just like the pattern says, but they're adorable. One of them is a leaf and the other one is an acorn. So then I found this designer named Susan Lynn. I found this sweater called the Sweet Lace sweater, and I saw it on Instagram. Someone had made it, and I immediately fell in love with this sweater. I love that the body of the sweater is plain, but the sleeves are lace work and they kind of balloon out a little bit. You could make them longer if you wanted to. I just think it's so, so cute. So I am definitely going to be making this. I have no idea what yarn I'll use. I would like to make something with our fall colors, but I just don't know yet. But I love this. And so then I was looking at all of her designs and I found this really beautiful shawl called the Swoon worthy shawl that would look so great with our fall colors. So beautiful. And then I found this other sweater she has called the French Terry. This looks like the most comfy sweatshirt type of pullover. I love the detail on it. It looks like it has such great texture. It's just so, so cute. I love it. And I think it would be perfect for fall and winter. So what else? Then I saw, let's see. Oh, I purchased the Dippity Doo shawl by Monster Knits. I'm gonna put a picture up of it here because I thought this looked very similar color-wise to our jewel-toned color palette that we have, the collection. And so if anyone is looking for some type of color inspiration to use, and you can make this in a small or a larger size, I'm pretty sure. So I would love to make that. Then I was watching Sophie from the Cozy Meadow Knits podcast. She's been a podcaster that I've been watching for a little while now. It's not too old of a podcast. She just started it maybe last year. I don't know. I love all the things that she makes. She lives up in Canada, and if you have not watched her podcast, definitely go check it out. But I was so inspired by some of the things that she is either wanting to make or has been making. So I wanted to list out 4 of the patterns that she has, like I said, either made or wanting to make. But I wanted to give her a shout out for that, because I just love her podcast. So the first pattern is called the Bobby Dazzler Mittens by Karen Malloy. I believe that's how you say it. I'll put a picture up of them here. They're color work and they're just so cute, and I would love to make these. I've been wanting to make some kind of mittens like this for a while. Then the CORRAN cardigan by Rebecca Clow. Okay, so this cardigan, the cardigan that I'm wearing, it's not handmade, it's from a store. And I'm pretty sure this is like a cotton, but I love this cardigan so much, and I've been wanting to make something similar to this with all of this lace work in it. I wear this thing all the time because it's so thin and light. It's just perfect for here in Florida. So I've been looking for a pattern that I don't want to stripe it, but I've been looking for something, and I wouldn't necessarily have to use cotton like this one. But the CORRAN cardigan looks so similar to this. It's open and lacy. I would definitely make it longer than what I see in the pictures, but I love that it has a button band. And when I saw her making this, I gasped, because I was like, oh, that's exactly like what I've been wanting to make. So I love that pattern, definitely want to cast that on. And then she was wearing a tee that she made called the Dingley Dell by Isabel Kramer, and I loved it. It's so cute. It's got such beautiful finishing touches, and she striped it just like the pattern called for. I would really like to make this in the future. And then the other Isabel Kramer pattern, this was not one recommended by Sophie, but I have had this one saved in my favorites forever, is the Regia cardigan. And this is also, I think I have it saved because it's similar in the sense that it has that lacy openness to it. That one is really cool because you can wear it, you can flip it over and wear it a different way. So I just loved all the pictures of it. I love Isabel Kramer designs. I've never made one. So either of those two or both of them will definitely be in my future knitting plans. The last thing I want to talk to you about briefly is advent calendars. So last year I got an advent calendar from Murray Woolgoods. I loved it. I didn't use it. I didn't make anything with it because I wanted to really decide what I wanted to make with it. So there is a pattern called the POLESDEN scarf or the POLESDEN wrap by Amy Loudon, and this is what it looks like. It's beautiful, and it was designed to use an advent calendar, and I'm pretty sure you either hold it double with mohair or you alternate the stripes with mohair. I really want to make this with my advent calendar. Next episode, I'll get my advent calendar out and show you guys what it looked like, my Murray Woolgoods calendar, and make some knitting plans for that pattern. Speaking of advent calendars, I have not purchased an advent calendar yet this year, and I'm kind of freaking out about it because I've had one every year for the last 3 or 4 years, and I don't know why. Last year I had Murray Woolgoods and I had Hugh Loco's advent calendar. I had the DK one. And I said I was gonna purchase another Hugh Loco advent calendar, and I think I missed it. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So if you guys have any suggestions on any yarn dyers that still have advent calendars available to purchase, leave me a comment and let me know if you know of any, or if you have anyone you recommend I plead and beg with just to purchase one, because I would love to have one. I'm planning on doing Vlogmas this year from start to finish the whole month of December, and I need an advent calendar to open. I don't need one, but I would really like to have one. So if you have any suggestions, let me know, because I mean, I would like to have 2, 3, 4, 5 advents, but I know that's not practical. But I really need one to open because it's just so fun and cheerful and festive for Advent season. So, and I cannot believe I have not already taken care of that. So, I don't know. Anyway, the only thing I have left to show you is an acquisition that came in the mail from Avery Lane Creations. It's my monthly subscription that I get. The other thing I bought has nothing to do with knitting, but I'm a huge Nicholas Sparks fan. I love to read. I never talk about reading on here, but I saw this at Target the other day and I was like, ooh, I have to get it. It's a new Nicholas Sparks book and it's called Dreamland. And I didn't know this when I bought it, but it's actually set in, well, some of it's set in Florida. Actually in St. Pete area, St. Petersburg, which is only like 45 minutes from where we live. So I read the first few pages and already fell in love. So I am going to dive in to this book. Are any of you Nicholas Sparks fans out there? Love it. Or if you're not a Nicholas Sparks fan, what do you like to read if you like to read? Okay, I have not even opened this yet. It came on Tuesday. No, it came on Saturday. Today's Tuesday. It came on Saturday and I saved it because I was going to record yesterday and I didn't. So I haven't even opened this yet. In fact, I need to get a pair of scissors to open the package, but this is my monthly yarn from Avery Lane Creations. Avery Lane Creations is a yarn dyer. She has a monthly subscription that you can get fingering weight or DK weight, I think worsted weight as well. And it comes with a little pack of goodies and then the yarn. I'll show you the yarn in just a moment. So this month is called Memory Lane, August 2023. This month we're taking a trip down memory lane. The colorways and the extras will have you feeling nostalgic, and I hope it puts the biggest smile on your face. The extra goodies are a gourmet saltwater taffy mix from Taffy to You, a mini composition notebook, super cute, that'll fit perfectly in one of your project bags, and a multicolor ballpoint pen. Oh my gosh, do you remember these when you were a kid? I was obsessed with these. And y'all know I love my school supplies. So this is super cute. I haven't had one of these or even seen one of these in ages. So this is truly a walk down memory lane, Nikki. Okay, and then the yarn, here we go. I get the DK weight. The yarn is called Memory Lane. Look how beautiful. It's an 85-15 superwash merino nylon. I love it. I definitely need some more neutrals in my life, so this is perfect. So that is from Avery Lane Creations. I love it. Thank you so much, Nikki. I've been purchasing this subscription for, over a year now, and I'm super happy with it always. I made my Gofladio wrap shawl thing that I showed a couple episodes ago from all of her yarn, and that fade just turned out beautifully. That is everything I have to share with you guys today. It was a super long episode. My throat is sore from talking so much, so sorry if it's really, really long. The only thing I'm gonna show you now is just a montage of the bags and yarn and stitch markers that we're going to have in the shop. It's just a little video clip of pictures, and don't forget that on Saturday, September 9th is our shop update at noon Eastern time in our Etsy shop, and tomorrow on Wednesday is the last day to order Spooky Soiree. So thank you guys for letting me chat with you. I hope you got some work done on your projects and enjoyed watching everything. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment down below. And I will see you again on Friday, this coming Friday the 8th. Let's say 8 p.m. on Friday for the live here on YouTube. So I will see you guys then. I'm so looking forward to chatting with you and sitting and knitting and showing you all of the things, answering any questions about the new collection. And I'll see you guys again in just a few days. Take care, everybody. Bye.